It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. It's 3 o'clock on a Monday, and the sun is shining, and the weather is beautiful, and the weather's supposed to be great the rest of the week. Hey, you know, every so often we like to do a little I don't think it's called cross-training, it's cross-broadcasting. We have a lady that comes on the air here and does a podcast for Finger Lakes One once a month. Melissa Killeleagh is my special guest, one of my colleagues here at FingerLakes1.com, and first time I met her was about 7 minutes ago. Melissa, thanks for coming in. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be on your show.
I'm looking forward to having to talk to you. I got kind of hooked up with Melissa regarding asking her to be a friend, and I'm glad we did because now we go back and forth on several topics. And for the folks that may not know you, since you do a podcast, you indicated you have a show tomorrow. Why don't you give a little plug for tomorrow's show? What's it going to be about?
Sounds good. So let me back up.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a little bit about what the whole concept is.
Sure.
Right? Jim named it because I couldn't come up with a name.
Okay.
So it's just the Melissa Killeleagh Show. But what I was really going for is, and should I call you the dog?
Dog is
what
fine.
I was really going for, dog.
That's what I go by.
Is to bring to light some of the news in our community that that sort of spotlights and features what I like to refer to as our everyday heroes, right? Like the people who are totally living life on purpose with passion and doing great things out and about in the community, whether it's here locally or, you know, around the globe. And I met Jim a few years ago and really wanted to bring this to fruition. But at the time I was working full-time for Seneca County, running a business part-time, and so we kind of parted ways. And then I ran into him a couple times on Fall Street when I first moved back to Seneca Falls last year after I gave birth to my son. And I was like, all right, now it's time. We got to make this happen. And so hopefully by the beginning of next year, we'll move to a more regular basis than once a month. But tomorrow's episode is really all about people who are using their platform to live their passion. So
very good.
And I'm just going to leave it at that so that everyone will hop on and
surprise. Melissa Killeleagh is with me, obviously a partner here at Finger Lakes One, who have a show tomorrow. What time's the show go on here?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yep.
An hour before the dog. Hey, let's talk a little about your personal stuff. Where you were born.
I was born in Buffalo.
And you're not a Bills fan, I hope?
I am not a Bills fan, but not because of the Bills, but because I really have very little knowledge and understanding of sports. So if you want to be my mentor, then
I could do that. I could do that. Yeah, I'm very good at predicting sports. Yeah, I've never been a Bills fan, so I was hoping and praying before this interview you were not going to tell me you were a diehard Bills fan.
That I didn't walk in with my jersey on?
Oh, God. I might not have had you on as a guest. Yeah, we might have been doing a solo.
Yeah, leave me in the hallway.
Yeah, you'll be out in aisle 2. Your education, talk a little bit about where you went to school and so forth.
Sure. So I did my undergraduate work at Ithaca College and then kind of took off to the West Coast for a bit. I was in AmeriCorps, which if you're not familiar, it's like a domestic Peace Corps. And came back here. I say there's something in the water here in the Finger Lakes. And I did my graduate work at Binghamton University. And I did some coursework in various institutions. I love to learn. I love education. So I studied at San Francisco State for a bit, and I've taken a lot of online courses. Louisiana State also.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, you mentioned you went to Ithaca. A legendary coach at Ithaca and their baseball program is from Seneca Falls, George Veloceni.
Yes. I did know that.
A legend. And he is... I don't know if he's retired or not, but he was there forever. I mean, like 30, 35 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. Yeah, George Veloceni.
We've got a lot of pretty great people in this small town.
Yeah, and I love Ithaca. I love their restaurants in Ithaca, too.
Yeah.
Is Joe's still open down there? Good old Joe's?
It's not, but it's funny you should ask because I used to work for them.
Ah.
Yeah, and the guy who owned Joe, there's a new Joe's.
On the corner.
Yeah, but the Joe's you're probably remembering, which is like the old,
old Joe's
style. Yeah,
there you go,
amazing food.
Right.
The guy who owned that, one of the partners, Mark Campanolo, went on and he opened the Boatyard Grill.
Okay. Yes,
which
I'm
is
familiar
the
with
one that's
that.
right down at the base.
Familiar with that.
Yep.
Very good. Now, as far as your schooling went, I see where you are a consultant. Explain to us what primarily you consult on. Is it various topics or is there one specific topic?
Anything and everything. So,
Okay.
so
that's
it's a really broad
interesting.
answer. So, do you know Dick Catanese by any chance?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, so he's a local guy here in the Finger Lakes, lives down in Ovid, and a number of years ago when I was working in finance, because that was where I spent about 10 years before I got into working for myself. When you asked him what he did, he was like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And, his business card said he was a consultant. And I remembered, having the impression like, I want that freedom.
Yeah.
I want that freedom because I have a really interesting, diverse, varied background. What I love about my network marketing business is simply being able to give people a financial vehicle to live their dreams, to live their purpose. But what I love to do on a coaching basis is to help people figure out what that is. So, yeah.
So if somebody wants to take your services and hire you, and you can be contacted quite easily.
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook. My business cards have my personal cell phone number on there.
Good.
Email. So, yeah.
Well, the thing I noticed about you, Melissa Killeleagh is my special guest. She will have a show here on Finger Lakes 1 tomorrow, 2 o'clock, subject to be kept secret till then, which I like. She's joining us today. We're going to get an up-close personal view of her. I've been inspired by some of her postings on Facebook, and I still can't figure out what happened to your printer when you printed off your bio. It was the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life. I went to print it. I asked her to send me a bio, which I do to all my guests, and I went to print it. And I do have a Windows XP, which, as you know, is outdated by 50 years, and it's barely hanging on. But the printer works really wonderful. And I hit the print button, and it came out, and I could not read one word. It was like the end of like that. It come out like that. Nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't see any words. It was weird. Then I went to print other documents, and they printed fine.
It's because I wrote it in Russian.
I couldn't figure it out for the love of me. It was weird. I've never seen anything quite like it. But anyways, the thought was there, and I appreciate it. But we always try to get a little information prior. Now, I know one of our buddies that you and me can agree on that probably amazes you with her amazing, reckless entertainment work style and the way she can be at 17 different places in one week. And I'm talking about
exactly who you're talking
Katie
about.
McIntyre.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. I mean, that woman, we hit it off when she came to town. She'll probably check out the show later. But she's kind of amazing if you think about it, with her kids and her husband, and I know they live in Auburn, etc. But for a woman that just enjoys life to the fullest, and I know that you speak on some of your posts about leaving this country better off when you leave, when you came in. I guess you are good friends with her, and so am I. I think it inspires you and me to know that Katie is a friend of ours, and she lives a fun, full life.
Yeah.
Scary.
You know what I love about Katie?
Yeah.
Katie's one of those people who doesn't even see it.
I know.
She's just absolutely amazing. And there's a quote out there, and I always get quotes and sayings wrong, so, I'll butcher it. But, something about when we let our own light shine, we give other people permission to do the same. And that's exactly what Katie does. She's just out there. She's a beacon. She's light. She's showing people what can be, what's possible. Not everyone's going to have the drive, the energy, the passion, the 100 miles an hour that she can make it. Sometimes I have no idea how she gets from point A to point B.
It's amazing.
I think she can travel time.
She makes me excited by her driving to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I mean, every step of the way, every 100 miles, they're doing something unique.
Yeah.
And stopping and checking out a flower, stopping and checking out, get a dessert for the kids. It's just mind-boggling. And I'm inspired by that, and she always has made me laugh, and she's a good friend. And as you know, she's been on this program several times, and we'll have her come back a lot because she's an exceptional guest. And
she's always got something new going on.
Always. If it isn't 261, if it isn't a Boston Marathon, it's her own race that she puts together every May. So it's really pretty nice. I think the funny part of Katie, and I'll share that with you, you probably saw it as well. I was strolling through my Facebook page one night, and I come upon this video. And here's Katie and her husband and the kids and somebody else at a campsite. And it had rained like 17 inches in an hour. It was just totally wiped out. Puddles.
Oh, is this 4th of July?
Yeah, puddles everywhere. And what are the kids doing? They're just splashing, jumping with their boots into this big pothole of water. And I was cracking up, and Katie is taking the film of it. And one of the little kids jumps in and splashes, and mud goes flying. And then the next one does the same thing. And then the husband comes and runs and jumps in it, and mud's flying everywhere. And Katie's just cracking up over it. And I thought, that's the Katie McIntyre lifestyle. everything to her is funny and everything, there's a purpose for it. And I was intrigued by it because you can have fun with any result regardless of the weather.
Yeah.
You know, and I was impressed by that.
Do you know what's amazing about her though, Dog? She said to me that it's intentional, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference, right? It's like she doesn't wait for the moment, she creates the moment.
Yeah.
And even her parenting style inspires me to be a good parent because she said, what I want to do is I want to delight my children, right? And so, like, I want to live by that.
It is amazing, you know, and, you know, and of course your pride and joy is your son, Jack, right?
Mm-hmm. He sure is.
I see a lot of pictures of Jack, and how old now?
He is going to be 15 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost,
he's a busy guy.
Almost coming up on the terrible twos.
Yeah. When he turns that stage, I was actually going to ask Jim if he can have his own podcast. I can just get rid of him for a little
That's
while.
right. Hey, before we take our commercial break, as God only knows, look at the clock. It's almost, what is it? Almost weird. 3:13. This is Melissa Killeleagh, my special guest this morning, or this afternoon. I'm so used to doing a 9:30 show, I get confused at the time. It's 3:13 on a Monday. Good to have you with us. Melissa Killeleagh is my special guest, and she does her own podcast once a month, and she'll have a show tomorrow at 2 o'clock right here on FingerLakes1.com. But Melissa, before we take our break, I know you want to send some love to Ann Sandroni and all the great organizers and the people involved in putting on Canal Fest 2017. I must share a quick story. My wife Mary and myself trekked down to partake on Friday night.
Fantastic.
Opening night. And our strategy was to find a parking spot, which we slipped into the Gould parking lot where everybody else was parking.
Wow.
We got in there and we walked from there down to the Canal Fest. And we went through, checked out some stuff, took some raffle tickets, which, by the way, Jimmy, an update, we never got our name called on the phone last night. So once again, another drawing that myself and Mary have not won, but we're going to continue to fill out those applications. Got a little something to eat, had a cold drink, and Nate Michaels, who's been on this program, who's an excellent singer and guitar player, very busy guy. He was playing at the Gould Friday night. So my wife and myself decided to stroll back up the hill and go to the Gould, and the clouds were coming in. The community band had just, Melissa, set up outside of the area.
Okay.
They were positioned to
Do I
start.
know where this is going?
Oh, I know where it's going. And then all of a sudden, they started doing the national anthem. I saw Judge Bender and his family there. And we decided after a couple songs to partake up to the Gould. Sat at the bar, had a drink. Mary had a wine, I had a beer, and all of a sudden I looked out the window and it's coming down like cats and dogs and everything else you could possibly imagine. It was coming down at a fierce level. Then I sat there realizing, wait a minute, I had left my window maybe about that open, both sides, driver and passenger side of my car, which was parked behind the Gould in the lot. So I strategized as it was pounding down, it was going to last a while, whether I should run out and shut the windows or let it just get soaked. I decided to run out, and you should have seen me scurrying past Little Italy, making the corner. And I got there, and I looked like a drenched dog, rat, whatever you call it, shut my windows. But I couldn't get out of the car for at least 8 minutes because of the downpour.
Wow.
And then I sloshed back into the Gould. My wife thought I had just jumped in the Atlantic Ocean. And we were off and done. But I felt bad. I know you want to say a few words about the fine folks. Even though 1/3 of the weekend was ruined because of a major storm, they did phenomenal on Saturday and Sunday. And I know you want to send some love to the people that put it on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Canal Fest was amazing. Did you go to yoga?
I did not.
Okay.
Did not.
Really quick before that, though, because I always forget everything. Do you know where that expression comes from? Raining like cats and dogs?
No.
I go crazy trying to figure out where these expressions come from. So apparently it comes from when cats and dogs would, like when roofs were, straw bale and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so the cats and dogs would hang out on the roof, like basking in the sun. And then when the rain would come, they'd all come running off.
Wow.
So, yeah, raining like cats and dogs.
Interesting. So I just want to say, along with Melissa, these folks that put on that, Ann Sandroni, and all the team that put on the Canal Fest, you guys sucked it up and you bit the bullet after Friday night's major rainstorm, and you came through in fine fashion because I know the crowds were increasing over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did a nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a wonderful job, and so grateful because our town needs to celebrate more, like the beauty that it is and what we have to offer, for sure.
That's right. Melissa Killeleagh is my special guest. When we come back, and we're going to refer to a couple of her postings on Facebook. Also, Seneca Meadows Open House. We'll talk about that when we return. Good to have you with us. Acting as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, Del Lago leverages the natural beauty and unique offerings while enhancing tourism in the region. The casino features 2,000 slot machines, 89 gaming tables, including 12 poker tables, portico by Fabio Viviani, a 2,400-person entertainment center, farmers market buffet. The hotel, spa, and banquet facility will open summer 2017. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Gold Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at newarkpilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Cicino's. Live, laugh, eat well. It's the Italian way. It's also the Cicino's way. Visit one of their 3 locations, Waterloo, Geneva, and now at Del Lago Resort and Casino. Order online for pickup or delivery at cicinos.com. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you, along with Melissa Killeleagh. I haven't butchered her name. That's amazing. I still got 8 or 9 minutes to screw that up. We want to thank you for joining us. Melissa's been sharing her background and some of her thoughts, and going to get to a couple of her fantastic little post that she puts out there that has inspired me to bring her on the show in the first place. I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to remind everybody, Seneca Metals is having a big open house. Just remember, bring the entire family to enjoy tours at Seneca Metals landfill, great entertainment, and a fantastic barbecue. You can also hop on the Finger Lakes Railway for a short train ride. Come see all there is to see. No registration required. That's Seneca Metals landfill, 1786 Salmon Road. That's, of course, in Waterloo. It's coming up Sunday, July 30th from noon to 4 o'clock. It's free, and obviously it's a family affair. So we thank our friend out there, Marcy, for giving me that information. By the way, before we get back to Melissa, a couple of reminders. As far as the upcoming shows for the month of July, next week we will have Lou Ferraro. We were expecting Greg Lazaro, but Greg got an opportunity to go see his son in Colorado. So Lou Ferraro will be my single guest next week, talking about the town board. And there's a lot going on, obviously, with the town board. It never ends. It's like an ongoing soap opera out there with the town of Seneca Falls. Lou Ferraro will be in representing that organization, that ruling body, I should say. Then on the 24th, a special show that I think will touch Melissa as well. They just put a new child advocacy center in Waterloo to help kids that have been abused, etc., etc. Long overdue. It is the Child Advocacy Center up in Main Street in Waterloo. And Angela DeVoli, I've not met Angela yet, along with Megan Peter. Megan, of course, the Assistant District Attorney, who's been on my program. She's a good friend. And Megan is the ADA of Seneca County, one of them. And she's involved helping out as well. She's always in like Flint when it comes to a great cause and a great effort. Those two ladies will be my special guest on the 24th. I'm going to tour that facility on the 21st of July just to get a scope of what it's like, what it looks like, and then they'll be in to talk about it at length. And oh, by the way, we're also going to have Tim Luce, the sheriff of Seneca County, who's instrumental in getting that started as well. He will be the third guest on the 24th of July. Speaking of Tim Luce, well, on the 31st, my buddy, who's one of my best friends, Frank Eldridge, who's been a Seneca County sheriff for some 21 years. We are good buddies. He's the one that I think Melissa might be impressed. He is the one that is the only one in New York State and the police authorities that understood and did the DARE program. And he's also the school resource officer out in Romulus, Frank is. And he got to understand, he got the mechanics, the presentation, et cetera, and he has been recognized by quite a few organizations, and he's the only one that we are aware of that has done the work to present DARE.
He got recognized nationally, right?
He did, and there's also an article that I'm bringing with me. He will also be here on the 31st of July, so we got a nice show, a nice lineup of shows coming up the remainder of July. But Melissa Killeleagh has been my guest, and Melissa, one thing that inspired me to ask you to come on this show, even though I've obviously watched your show, was the fact that when I scroll through Facebook, I see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of dumb stuff, not from you, but from other people. I mean, it's just weird how the stuff they post on there with videos, et cetera, et cetera. I got to admit, when I looked at some of your postings, it brings some things back to me relative to the kind of person, I've only met you like for 30 minutes, but a kind of person that I admire to the degree that, to me anyways, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do not really relish the fact of being a multi-billionaire. That's not a turn-on for you. You also do not inspire to have the fanciest, most expensive car. You seem to have a simplistic view, and I'm not being critical with that term. I think your views on life in view with your son Jack relative to walking up a path or up a trail, stopping and checking out a flower engagement or a flower assortment, looking at a waterfall. You've posted things that have touched my heart, and I'm 72, so I'm not a young guy. But I noticed that you take the littlest things that some people may not find important, but to you and to your peace and serenity, they're important. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I hit it on the head?
Yeah, although I will tell you,
Yep.
You know, as far as the other stuff goes, like being a multi-billionaire and all that kind of stuff, I recently had to reconcile with that kind of thing. I realized that one of the things that held me back in my business, because I'm in the profession of network marketing, is the idea that, you know, there's something wrong with money. Like we're raised, especially in Catholic culture, to think like money is the root of all evil and like all these negative messages. But I want to be a multi-billionaire only because I want to change the world with that money.
And you can help out.
I can help more people. Yeah, absolutely.
But
and when it comes to my vehicle, by the way, my company pays for mine. So yes, you're right. That's what I want. Before that, I paid cash for beat up old Volvos every time I needed a car. So.
But is it fair to say that you and Katie sort of on the same page relative to things that you spot that people normally would not address, but to you and to her, it seems like you both have the same vein in regards to certain issues, and that is things that impress you that may depress somebody else. Is that a fair statement? I mean, you take things and post them on Facebook, and I can't remember all your lines, but they were inspirational enough for me to recognize the fact that I wanted to meet you because I understood about the post, and I felt there was something there was touching the way you were exactly outlining it.
So I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
But first of all, I want to thank you for letting me know that inspired you.
It did.
Because that matters to me.
Well, I kind of looked at it and I thought, she's got a great point there, you know?
Yeah. And I appreciate being a guest on your show because you've got a lot of history in this community.
Long time.
Right? And second of all, I really appreciate also the comparison to Katie because I do. I look up to her. I think she's a really wonderful woman. And yes, I do really focus my energy on seeing the beauty in all things, finding the opportunities and obstacles, finding the teaching, the lessons in the challenges. Because without that, what is life? Other than like some uphill schlep, until we die. Like, there's this very crazy syndrome out there in our society that's all about like, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I hit this milestone. I'll be happy when I do this thing. I'll be happy when that happens. if you can't get happy right now, it's not going to happen. And there's no better teacher than a 14, 15-month-old child.
I know. No.
He is my greatest teacher.
Oh, I understand. My granddaughter's, God, she's 19, but I still recall, and I was kidding my wife, and I was telling friends, Izzy's 19 now, and she's going to school. And I remember, it seems like I recall 3 or 4 years ago playing dolls with her at our apartment. And she's 19. So I know it wasn't 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
But I remember the fond memories of having her coming over and spending a lot of time with myself and Mary and us babysitting or watching her. And the joy of actually playing dolls and swinging her, pushing her on a swing. And it seems so weird that she's 19.
Yeah.
And, you have to cultivate. We saw her when did we see her? Saturday night or Friday night? I get confused. I think Saturday night we stopped and saw her. She's working up in Geneva. And we stopped and saw her. She's working part-time. And I look at her and I think, wow, it's amazing how fast these kids grow up.
Yeah.
And if you don't grasp the good times and enjoy the experience. And again, I never laughed so hard when we used to play dolls. And we would play, she was the queen of the castle, obviously. And she would give me a spot of tea, make-believe stuff. And I remember that vividly. And it only seems to me like 5 or 6 years ago, but we know it's a long time ago. But it's weird how that all comes back. But I am inspired by your comments on the Facebook page, and I think taking your view is a good thing. And I think more people, and maybe you got me a little bit involved in it. Maybe some other people could understand that. There are nicer things that you got to worry about versus getting yourself impressed. Looking at the simple things that sometimes. And I say simple, I don't mean to be derogatory in that remark. I'm saying things that I drive by and don't appreciate, that I should stop and realize, we should do that. And so it's impressive. So listen, I know we're almost out of time as usual with the show. It goes so fast, but I know that we wish you well on your program. And again, you're going to surprise us tomorrow at 2 o'clock with the presentation and continued success.
So thank you for that.
Okay.
But I have a question for you. I know I'm your guest and I'm grateful.
Sure.
But we have a mutual friend. And this mutual friend told me one piece of trivia about you. And I'm intrigued.
Okay.
So he said that I could ask you about all of the early bird specials around the Finger Lakes.
Oh, Peter, Pete nailed me good. My barber, he's a legend. Yeah, he's been picking on, because me and my wife go to dinner sometimes at 4:30, 4:45. And Pete,
it's a good time to go to dinner. I'm there.
Well, they have the early bird special.
Right.
We actually really don't go for that.
Yeah.
It's just part of the menu pricing, and we take advantage of, Pete, you're going to get yours. He nailed me. He got me good. We have a good time together.
Yeah.
I shouldn't pick on him because my birthday fell on April 29th, my birthday. My birthday fell exactly on a day that I had to get a haircut. So
funny.
I went into his barber shop, and I only lived like 40 feet from him. And I kept telling him, hey, it's my birthday today, Pete. It's my birthday today. I said it about 21 times, and he finally gave me a free haircut.
Oh, that's awesome.
Get Pete to give you something for free. You need somebody to help you out with that. But it was good. Yeah, well, Pete, you got me, buddy. Good job, Melissa.
We're going to collaborate and do some events together coming up.
So
check out. We'll have some flyers posted in his shop.
Excellent.
But also, when you mentioned that whole thing about being inspired and taking on that new perspective, I just want to share with you. Anyone who finds me on Facebook, send me a private message. I'm starting a private community where I'm going to be doing a lot of Facebook Live and webinars on kind of just reframing life to be able to see the joy in everyday life.
Very good. All right, folks, as they say in this world of media, we're out of time. So for Jim Senacropian, my special guest, Melissa Killeleagh, and I did not butcher her name once today. She has a show tomorrow at 2 o'clock on Finger Lakes 1. Take care, everybody.